What's good, y'all? I hope y'all doing well. It's been a minute since I've done one of these. I'm sorry for that, but hopefully I can start getting back into it. Today I'm going to be doing a beat breakdown of the song Accountable by Paige II. It is track 7 off of his new album called If I Fail, Are We Still Cool? I produced this one, or made it, back in January of last year, and I'm glad that he dug it and decided to use it for his album. So nonetheless, I'm going to break it down a little bit by section. So I'm going to start off with the melody and try to detail what I did for that, and then go into the drums, and if there's any in-depth mixing that I need to talk about and go through, I'll try to do so. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so real quick before we get into the melodies, I'm sorry, I just want to make this disclaimer. I'm sorry if you hear any like chair noises. I'm trying to move as little as possible in this seat, but if you hear any like creaks or anything, that's what that is. But anyway, so yeah, with this beat, I basically built it off of this splice melody. Super dope. And here's what it sounds like. It was at 110 BPM at first, but I needed it just to be a little bit more quicker, so I sped it up, but here's what it sounds like at its original tempo. Okay, I found it super dope, and luckily within that same pack and splice I found these bells that were pretty dope. So here's what that sounds like. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it though. Okay, cool. So I had that going on, and I don't know why, but whenever I like had that on loop, I kept hearing like some soft, airy chords that I could play. So I went to my handy dandy plugin Silent, and I pulled up this preset. It's by Demarsh, but I think he goes by another producer name now. But it's super old preset that I got from him. But essentially, it's basically like sine chords, really, or a sine sound. So got that, and then played out some of these chords. As you can see, I have different variations of it, but I'll go ahead and play you one pattern for now. Okay, and before I get into the bass right quick, I want to show you how I automated the main melody, that main sample, and then the bells as well, because it's different from the like pre-verse, the intro, and as it goes into the verse. So when the verse hits, I have the love filter for the main melody automated, and I'll show you the preset for the love filter, simple bandpass. But what I'm essentially doing is pushing that melody to the back, and then I have this reverb on it as well, automated, just slightly though, not a whole lot. So yeah, I had that on for the verse because I wanted the chorus I played along with the drums that I added. I wanted that to be the focal point rather than the main melody be so like in your face, and it'll make sense as I begin to add the drums a little bit later. But I'll go ahead and play you the pre-verse with the chords and everything, and then I'll turn on the bass line as well in a few minutes and go through that. So here's what it sounds like, no bass. And turn on the bass. Show the bass real quick. I get ahead of myself, I want to go to these bells again. I automated the bells by putting a growth speed on it, which essentially is playing like a half speed, the half speed preset. I have that going on. So it's off for the first 4 bars of the hook, and then it turns on because I just wanted it to be somewhat different. I didn't want the higher tone of that bell to be heard like throughout the entire hook. So I just wanted, add a little bit of variation with it. So it's normal now, and then it's going to go into the automation. Okay, and now let's see. Okay, yeah, this filter. So that it sounds like it's kind of like a wishy-washy flanging effect, and that's what this low pass filter is doing to it as well. So got that. Let's see if there's anything else melodic wise. As it continues into the hook, into the second verse, everything is essentially copied and pasted. So not much variation outside of the bells that I have. And then I'm gonna go back to the verse as well. I have parts of the main melody muted or just cut off completely here. And that was done. I think I feel like I just wanted to create space and again let the drums be more felt, I suppose, as opposed to the main melody. So that's why I have some of it like muted or cut out completely and then have it come back in. Just again, all about variation with me. I like doing, adding a variety of little things here and there in my beats. So that's what that was. And I guess we can go ahead and go into the drums now. Okay, let's get into these drums. I love the drums that I put in this beat. Like the bounce just meshed so well with the melody and the chords and everything. It was a lot of fun. So first sound, if you listen closely in the song, in the intro mainly, you'll hear like a clock ticking kind of ease its way into the beat. And that's what I have here, this clock-like perk. I'm going to go ahead and play it for you solo. But it's essentially like these ticks, clock-like ticks, as you can see, that I put together and made into a loop. And with this, I just have the volume automated in the intro. So I'll go ahead and play you just the intro, and you'll hear how it's going to ease its way into the beat. And it meshed so well with the transition and the tag, or my tag. So. Actually on the ride. Okay, loved it. And moving on to the drums, or the primary aspect of the drums, I'll go ahead and get into this loop-de-loop thing right quick. So with this, it's essentially like 2 different chops that I took from one main drum loop. So here's the main drum loop. It's called You Hear Me Loop from, I think it came from a Foreign Tech drum kit. Don't remember which one, but nonetheless. Okay, and then I have 2 different chops, like I said, of it. So with this one, you're going to hear how it's a lot slower than what I just played, and a little bit more ambient full. So that's the main one that I use throughout the beat. With this one, I only use like little chops of it. Okay, so I didn't use that entire thing. And you'll hear it right here. So I'm going to mute the main drums and go ahead and play you just the loop-de-loop and the clock perk loop. Let me mute the melody first. I just want you to hear the drums for now. Okay, and so You may ask why I just played that for so long when it's like nothing crazy, but as I bring in the other drums in context, this part right here is subtle, but it adds so much to the main like feeling of the drums overall. And again, you'll see what I mean right now. So with the drums, let's see, I'm gonna open up a pattern. I kept it fairly simple, so this is without any of the percussion loop behind it. This is just pattern one, or one pattern of it. Yeah, this is the pre-verse, I believe, so it's gonna be pretty bare. We got a clap going on, and then this like squeak noise. Then I'll go ahead and get to these drums where we get the kick. Get that for now. So this is without the percussion loops. Add the hi-hats. Okay, so as you can already hear, it's got a nice groove to it already without the additional percussion loops added to it. But again, just to I like doing this a lot, like adding percussion loops here and there to like layer or like fill out the drums just slightly and add a little bit more groove to it. So here's the loop-de-loop with the drums. Here's the pop light. Cool. So before I again get ahead of myself, I'll go ahead and go through these sounds that I have. So with the bass that I'll unmute right now, I'm gonna keep the chords muted though. So with the bass, it's just like a one-shot sample that I put together a while ago. Have a kick, clap, with a good bit of reverb on it. This window snare. Again, that squeak. Percussion loop, hat, toms that you hear. I'm not sure if these are panned or not. Okay, yeah, I have them panned left and right, where it goes doom doom doom. Water drop, just again, it's essential in my R&B beats. I have a water drop, and then it's crash. So simple drums, nothing crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and play you the verse with the bass line. And now I don't remember as I was making the beat if I wow, I must have. Okay, so yeah, I'm sure I had the bass first and then built the drums around it rather than like having drums first and then adding the bass. I honestly don't remember, but again, it all worked out. So here's the verse, strictly drums and bass. Cool. I'm gonna get into the hook. I don't think there was much like variation in regards to the drums. Of course I took some stuff out. But okay, I'm gonna turn the melody back on. Sounds so good. And like as I'm playing it now, I'm remembering like why I did certain things. So going back to the melody, how I have it spaced out here, you can hear how in place of that space, I have the tom come in. So, and again, it's subtle things like that. While it may not be noticeable, to me it's kind of cool. And hopefully you can hear how much damage this one little loop aspect, or this chop rather, is adding so much to the bounce. But yeah, I love it. So I guess we can go ahead and get into the mixing. Shouldn't be too much. And yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and breeze through the mixing or the mixer track fairly quickly, because I don't like, aside from the main melody, the sample, and even the chords, I didn't really do too much with the actual drums itself. Like maybe some reverb here and there on certain sounds, but outside of that, everything is pretty much as it were when I dragged it from the drum kit. So going to the main melody, I'm gonna just run through this mixing channel that I have with the plugins. So we got the reverb that I went over earlier. Got two of them actually. This one's automated, and the EQ. I'll play you the main melody without the effects on it. You'll hear how there's like a bassier element to it within the rolls itself that I didn't want, because I wanted, as I was working, I knew I was gonna add some kind of bass, whether it be an 808 or a synth bass. I wanted my own bass on top of the rolls, and like it sounded fine normally without any EQ on it, but you know, just for my sanity, I wrote off some of the lower end. So here's what it sounds like without any effects on it. Okay, and so I'm turning the effects on, and I'm gonna play it again without all the extra stuff added. You can still hear the bass some, but it's not as prevalent as it was beforehand. Okay, and then again, the love filter that I showed earlier. Then I have a fruity stereo enhancer on it as well. And then going to the bells, more EQ, taking out some of the lower end. Again, the filter that I showed earlier, I have this growth speed preset, the half speed that I again went over earlier. Let's see, I have a fruity limiter on a good bit of my sounds, but I'm just using the compression aspect of it. And even then, I'm not necessarily compressing it all the way. It's just, I don't know, just become habit at this point where I throw it on there. Let's see, the clock perk. Okay, so I'm sure you saw how the pan knob is kind of like automating itself, and I have a fruity formula controller controlling that. And honestly, I truly don't remember how I went about doing this. I'm sure I just right-clicked and linked to controller, and then, you know, have the formula control out, accept, and then just messed around with these knobs here, the A, B, and C. So on your own time, I'm sure you can just, you know, if you don't know how to do this, you can just mess around with that and find out what you like. But that's what's going on there. Excuse me. I have a reverb because, again, I wanted this sound to be very, very ambient within the mix of the drums. Took out the lower end of it, some of the high EQs as well, and then again the compression as well. Moving on to the bass, I have a little bit of fruity chorus, and this is actually a little, not necessarily a trick, but on sometimes I'll throw on a fruity chorus on a synth bass, just to, again, it all goes back to widening the sound a little bit. Hey, it works. I don't know why, but it just does to me. So and they wrote off some of the higher ends of this as well. Going on to the chords, again, the fruity chorus to widen the sound some. Got an EQ to take out some of the lower end of the chords. Let's see if I can find it. All right, play a little bit of the chords. So yeah, not really doing too much because there wasn't a lot of bass, quote unquote, to begin with. So, and then some reverb because I wanted this sound to, again, be ambient and airy. And that's it for that. Again, a compression with the fruity limiter. And then going on to the drums. What is this? Okay, this is the RVox Waves plugin. Not sure why I use this. I don't ever use it. I don't know why I used it on this, because I felt like the kick in itself was already pretty punchy. But just I guess a tip, if you have this plugin and you want to throw it on a kick, it usually, like, depending on the kick sample itself, usually like will make it just like a slightly bit punchier, depending on how you work about these compression knobs and gates and all that. So don't really know why I put it on this one, but hey, it worked. Hi-hat, really nothing. Clap, reverb, again taking out the lower end on the clap. This window snare, again lower EQ. This little squeak perk, reverb, and then I'm sure lower EQ. Again, a lot of this is all the same. Nothing. Reverb on the Boy Wonder perk, the tom. I raised up. I don't know why I did this. Let's see. Let me play the sound. Oh yeah, okay. So the bassier tone of this tom, I wanted that to be heard, so that's why I have that raised there. Okay, and then the loop-de-loop. Took out some of the lower EQ, and then some of the higher frequencies as well. Lower end like frequencies, meant to say, and then higher frequencies as well. With the second loop-de-loop, the short one where I didn't use too much of it. Again, I had the Filter Freak, the double downer preset, and reverb, and then the EQ, and then the stereo shaper too, to again widen the sound. This water drop, I have again I'm just repeating myself. Took out the lower frequencies of it, and finally this crash. I just put some reverb on it. So it's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, don't know really what else to go over. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Again, I haven't done a beat breakdown in a while, so if I didn't cover everything, I apologize. Just leave me a comment, letting me know, or just let me know what you want to hear or what else you want to see from me. And yeah, I hope y'all have a blessed day.